Good morning, EMZ. This is the Onunwor family. Today we wanted to take some time out to discuss some traditional culture during this Black History Month.
We are so blessed to be able to share this moment with you. When you think about traditions, when you think about the Nigerian culture, what are some traditions that stand out to you?
Well, family is very important. Knowing the structure of the family, being together, father and mom, and in fact, it's a unique setting. It's embedded in us. We have a great holding and family, the love and the family. There are disagreements, but family is very important, and that speaks volume for us.
So when there are disagreements in Nigerian culture, what is the way to handle those disagreements amongst family?
Well, if there are disagreements, for example, let's assume there's disagreement between you and your husband. It will come to me as the father, and then I will call some of the elders. They will come together. And in those days, I don't know now, but in those days, very early in the morning, the message will go out. About 5, 6 a.m., all these elders will come. And when they come, they sit and then open up with whatever is going on. The elders, with their wisdom, right there, will tell you who is wrong, and then not only they will tell you who is wrong. If you are wrong, they will tell you what you must do to amend, to make peace. You'll be surprised if your husband is wrong. The elders will say, you need to buy a goat, you need to buy outfit, you need to have a cookout for the women on the market day, to appease the wife. But if the wife is wrong, also the elders will determine the penalty to appease the husband, and the keys to keep the family together.
How does the parents balance their kids with like one being older and being younger? How do they balance who comes? Like, I guess let's say who comes before who in deciding the different things.
Well, the first son is called 𝐴𝐅𝐅𝐄𝐿. 𝐴𝐅𝐅 means the first son. The first son is always next to the father. The second son, like Chukwu, will be 𝐿𝐿, which is second. Everyone knows their position. And if, like your wife is my daughter, then she's called Ada, which means the first daughter. The second to her will be Onunwor, which is second. So everyone knows their hierarchy. And there's a respect that flows in that order.
Mm-hmm. That's a great connection there to kind of reflect when we were speaking about how you handle challenges or conflict amongst family. And I'll be so interested to know, Mom, how that is either same or different to your African American culture with handling conflict in family, and how different siblings have different stances in the family.
Okay. I'm reflecting back when Emmanuel and I had our first year of marriage. Mm-hmm. And by us coming together, him from his culture and me coming from my culture, and we combined it, and at the first year of our marriage, it wasn't working too well for us. It got to the point where as he just described, that you call the elders. And at that particular time, I wasn't familiar with doing that. I'm so used to, or we're so used to, either talking to a friend or someone that's not a part of the family setting. And one of the things that he told me, that from his culture, when there's a problem within the family, you keep it within the family. Me and you have a problem, so I'm getting ready to call the family. His family was not here, so he called on his godparents and asked them, his godparents, Evan and Eddie Jackson, he called on them to come to our home 6 a.m. in the morning. He called my parents and asked them to meet us here at our house at 6 a.m. in the morning. Where at the time, I just thought it was so ridiculous for people, have our family come over that early in the morning. But it was a blessing because they came together, and early in the morning, and everybody's minds was open and clear, and we sat down and we shared with them the situation that what we were going through. And so once we finished, he was telling on me and I was sharing about what he was doing. But once we finished, both sides shared what they thought and what needed to be done in order for this marriage to proceed. We listened, and it was the best thing that we did. And that's why today we're together after 30-some years. Because normally, like I said, you'll call your girlfriend and you share with them whatever you're going through, but you have to be careful with that. And that made so much sense to me when he shared that. They might not want you married anyway, or have a problem with it. They're going to tell you anything, negative, and that has happened. So that was a blessing to our relationship.
That's so funny because we actually had a very similar experience. And, if it wasn't for that experience, we wouldn't be where we are today and are able to come to our family and get their advice on situations that we maybe can't make a sound judgment at the time because our views are different. And it really does help when you keep those things within the family,
And you have family, they love you. So they're going to give you the best advice, for your relationship. So, yeah.
So, Mom, you guys got married, and you eventually traveled back to Africa to see Pop's home. How was that experience? Because you hear a lot of noise being in America about how's Africa, but how was that firsthand experience to you?
Well, once I got over the fear of traveling in the air for 18 hours, I was okay. But it was a wonderful experience. It was an eye-opener. Once we landed in Africa and we went into the airport, it just felt like it was a connection for me. When I look around the airport and I saw the picture, the portrait of people that looked like me, and they were in traditional outfits, the uniform, that was their working uniforms that they wore to work. And it was just an awesome experience just being in that airport, seeing the connection and the even looking at it was Muslims, because Africa is predominantly a Muslim country, and just seeing the Muslim, they was in the corners praying, but then once we traveled and went through and just being in a country where you're seeing us, I was told, and my husband will tell you, I was told so much. Not only told, I was what we read in history, and what we saw on TV. I mean, my thought was that Africa was full of animals, just animals just running throughout the country, and the women, they showed they was topless. You know, it was, when I arrived and I saw, it looked just like Cleveland, Ohio. You know, I was told to be careful about, don't drink this, don't eat this. I had a whole suitcase full of water, canned food, so that I wouldn't starve, because I wasn't going to eat based on what I was told here before I left. Pops didn't say anything. He allowed me to go ahead and pack my food suitcase. But when I got there, it wasn't like that. And that's how we are fooled into believing, you know, from what by us not is so far, and by us not being or traveling there. Not only that, it was just the people were so nice, sincere. I watched the kids. You talking about family setting. The kids was playing with each other. They didn't have them expensive toys. They was playing with a bottle top, and they was having so much fun. I don't know what they was playing, but they was having so much fun with no shoes on. You know, we have gotten it, and I realized that, I said, we really caught up in America, especially with these tennis shoes. They didn't have any shoes on, and they were just so happy. And they were so happy. I mean, they treated me as I was theirs. And you also heard back here, Nate, to be careful, because they're not going to like you because you're from the United States, and this, that, and thus. It wasn't like that. So to answer your question, it was a wonderful experience. I'm waiting. We're talking about going next year. I look forward to going. It was a blessing. It was a connection. As a matter of fact, my life has not been the same since I traveled to Africa.
Pops, what sticks out to you about home? Like, what do you love about home?
It's difficult to explain. It's something that is in you. The very moment we arrive, or when I visit home, once you arrive at the airport and just descend from the plane, it's something about the environment. Home, there's nothing like home. And seeing your people, unassuming, we're all the same. There are a lot of issues there now because of all kinds of changes, but we still manage. It's in your blood. It's something that you cannot explain.
So Maya, let me ask you this. How do you feel, or what do you feel coming into the African culture, the different traditional things that you have been a part of since you've been in Onunwor?
It's been a beautiful experience. One thing that really sticks out to me is the traditional attire. For a lady who loves clothing, just that rich history. You know, there's purpose behind the attire. You know, for different occasions, you wear different forms of traditional attire, and that history, that tradition is just so beautiful. Even when you have celebrations, any reason that you come together, it really defines like that togetherness. You know, I think about a wedding that we attended. You know, everybody matches and tries to really, because that family, like Pop said, it's about family. So you show this is my family through the traditional clothing. You know, when I was asking you about it, you know, one person makes all the outfits for everyone, and I'm just like, that's so much work, and it's so much detail that goes into this rich, the rich attire, and it just makes you feel a part, welcome, and really rich. You feel good when you wear the traditional attire because it's very rich. The clothing, it's, you know, how do you feel about the traditional attire?
Well, originally, Maya, I even said, I don't recall who I said it to, but originally I said I was going to marry Emmanuel, but I said I wasn't going to wear the traditional wear. I didn't know any better at that time. And since then, as you're saying, the traditional clothing is so rich in culture, and the attire, it has so much meaning, you know, from each tradition or from each community. They all have different attires. One of the things that Pop's brother's wife, they have uniforms for that particular community. And whenever they changed the uniform from his community, she would send me the new uniform. Although I wasn't there to wear, you know, at their meetings, because they have women's meetings, I had the uniform. I love the attire. To answer your
God
question.
be the glory for the many things that the Lord has done. It is said, count your blessing and name them one by one. The Lord has blessed us tremendously, and we thank the Lord. I will encourage our people to find a way to visit, to be part of our culture together. Don't worry about all the negatives. Find someone that is close to you. We need to reach out to one another. It's lovely going back to our ancestors, the majesty of our place, where we come from. Though it has changed now, but it's still beautiful. For the Africans here in America to connect with Africans back in Africa. Oh, what a dynamic day that will be. And I'm looking forward to the day when you, next year, our plan is to go home as a family. I've already told them that we are coming, and they're already excited. So I'm looking forward for that reunion. May the Lord bless everyone. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
People think about African culture, they think about African food. What's your favorite Nigerian food?
For me, it would be a jollof rice. It's pretty simple to make. It's rice with tomatoes and some peri. You can put chicken or shrimp, dress it up how you like it. But I have to say that's one of my favorites because it's pretty simple, but it has that authentic taste, you know. So it's one of my favorites. What about you?
For me, when I go to like an African event, Nigerian event, I'm always looking for something sweet. It's called puff puff. It's really just a sweet piece of bread. Pretty much it's moist and it's very good. Paired with anything.
Nice. What about you, Pops and Mom? What's your favorite Nigerian foods?
My favorite Nigerian food is moi moi, and that's black-eyed peas, kind of blended together, where the black eyes are removed and then it's grinded together, and you can put your favorite type of meat. I love shrimp with mine, but that's one of my favorites.
Well, my favorite is fufu. Most Nigerians know that you must eat fufu. You make the soup, then you make the dough. My favorite soup is okra soup. Okra is very medicinal, very good for your system. You can cook it. I cook mine with smoked turkey meat, spicy, but very delicious.